Washington Grown is made possible by funding from the Washington State Department of Agriculture and the USDA Specialty Crop Block Grant Program. And by the Potato Farmers of Washington. Learn why Washington is home to the world's most productive potato fields and farmers by visiting potatoes.com.
Hi everyone, I'm Christy Gordson and welcome to Washington Grown. The Columbia River Basin is home to farmers who care deeply for the land and the water they steward. In this episode, we're going to talk to some Grant County leaders who are setting the standard in sustainable agriculture and innovative water management. Tomas is meeting a father and daughter who are working toward a more sustainable future.
He's a great teacher, and I wouldn't have traded it for anything.
And I'm making steak with Washington potato hash at Enzo in Moses Lake.
You keep talking, I'll keep eating.
Yeah, you keep eating.
Okay.
Then Val's learning how a conservation district helped a farm get onto a new irrigation system.
I think I'm gonna go home and call my conservation district. What am I missing? What am I missing?
All this and more today on Washington Grown. Cooking with Christy. Sweet.
Jiminy G. Willikers.
Watch my bangs. Go big or go home.
Ah, right in my eye.
You made me a believer. Oh, I am making a mess.
Oh, Val, I love you.
Heaven on a plate.
That's yummy. We're gonna get a to-go cup for these? Yeah.
You keep talking, I'll keep eating.
Here in Moses Lake, there's one restaurant that has everyone talking.
It's just a full experience.
The food's great, the environment's great.
It feels high-end, it feels high quality, but not at all stuffy or prohibitive.
Welcome to Enzo Italian Restaurant. With a stunning interior and phenomenal food, there is so much to love about this place. And when the food is made with ingredients grown so close, it seems like they're living up to the hype.
You can't believe you're in Moses Lake when you walk into this restaurant.
I almost started speaking Italian when I walked in.
It's unique for the area. I really like it.
Enzo means superb in Italian. Top of the line, it means it's just fabulous.
Rhonda Casciotti is the co-owner of Enzo Italian Restaurant. From the menu to the architecture and everything in between, Enzo is her vision come to life.
It's one of the things that we wanted to bring to Moses Lake. We wanted people to experience dry ice cocktails and a really good hearty meal where you could feel like you were fine dining, but you could still laugh out loud and still bring your kids and have fun. That's the Italian way.
Big city splash, but the hometown feel.
You just really feel like you're somewhere else when you come in here.
Benvenuti tutti is what we'd say in Italian. Welcome all.
Once you experience that taste, you're like, oh, this is as fabulous as it looks. And that's what I want every time.
Don't miss later in the show when Enzo chef Campos and I make steak with a side of Washington potato hash.
Don't make me cut an onion. That's my nemesis.
Can't
right
be crying
there.
on camera.
No, I just don't know how. Like I cut it different every single time.
Just outside of Quincy, we're visiting Reynolds Agribusiness, where owner Brett Reynolds is testing unique farming practices on potatoes.
We try to do things a little bit different. We focus heavily on sustainability, trying to pull the regenerative ag thing into play with our potato production and the future use of the ground.
Brett's daughter, Dana Lutz, has been lending a hand since she was young, and she continues to work alongside him to this very day.
Well, I've been doing it since before I could drive. Working on the farm, pulling weeds, spraying, learn more about the crop. He's a great teacher, and I wouldn't have traded it for anything.
What started as lessons with her dad grew into a career. Today, Dana works as a Columbia Basin agronomist, helping him adopt sustainable and regenerative soil practices.
He's always been real interested in high-efficiency fertilizer. What does the crop want and when does it want it? But what we're also trying to do is look at them with really sustainable eyes and go, okay, for long term, is what we're doing working?
Brett balances standard farming practices with experiments in new technology, all driven by his focus on sustainability.
This particular field is half fumigated and half non-fumigated.
And what does that fumigation do for a standard practice for the potato?
Standard practice is trying to control soil-borne disease, and we're trying to control nematodes that feed on the roots or potentially the potatoes themselves. And then we've got these new products that we're trying to figure out. In fact, one of the things we're using is a byproduct of the shellfish industry, crab shells.
Oh, how
it's
about
called
that?
chitosands,
Okay.
providing plant health effects.
Okay.
That has influence on plant disease.
We're wanting new nematicide products, new fungicides, and we have an industry that will stay ahead of that and go, hey, we've got one on the market for you.
Right.
Let's go ahead and give it a try.
Brett and Dana led me into the field to see the results of their experimentation firsthand.
So these are Clearwater potatoes.
Okay, and these are used for mostly
processing.
Okay,
So
like French fries, yeah.
tater tots.
They're gorgeous. Now, are we on the fumigated side or the non-fumigated
Here
side?
we're on the fumigated side.
Okay, gotcha. All right, they look gorgeous.
You know, there's not much of a difference between the two. That's the beauty of the
Yeah,
Clearwater.
that's what he was saying. There's a lot to learn from that.
One of the other things we do different is we plant on a 32-inch row, and most of the basin is on a 34-inch row. Those 2 inches allow us to get more plants per acre, more potatoes per acre, and we keep our size down.
Okay, because you don't want these to get too
we don't want
big.
the great big guys, so we want this more modest size that the processor can make these nice French fries out of.
Keep up the good work, you two.
Thanks.
If you're looking for a fast and healthier food option, then you should check out Fresh and Foraged in North Spokane. Co-owner Betty Jessup wants everyone to feel welcome, whether you have dietary restrictions or you're just looking for something that's healthy and delicious.
We are a healthy, gluten-free, quick service restaurant. A lot of people that come in here have dietary restrictions, and so we kind of cater to that crowd. People come in here because they know that they're going to get something fresh.
Betty just recently became co-owner of the restaurant, and one of the reasons that she decided to jump in was because of how easy it is to get fresh, quality ingredients here in Washington.
We have a lot of produce readily available here.
And it's in your name. So
It is.
So it kind of has to be fresh.
Yes.
Today, we're celebrating the Washington baked potato. Just a good old russet.
And of course, we have to have butter.
Gotta get butter, yep.
We're going to put some cheese on this bad boy. And I'm not shy with the
Yeah, I was
cheddar.
gonna say, please don't skimp.
Definitely not. And then here are the bacon bits that we make
Oh, yum.
hickory smoked. And then we're gonna put some sour cream on this thing.
And that's it.
That's a loaded baked potato.
Doesn't get any more comfort food than that, right? Washington baked potato. There we go, cheers.
Cheers.
You cannot go wrong with a baked potato. What I really like about this is it is fresh.
We want to be able to have people come in and treat themselves, but know that they're getting a healthy product. We want people to feel good about eating here.
You want a good, hearty baked potato, you come to Fresh and Foraged here in Spokane. This is awesome,
Right.
Betty. Let's have some more.
All right, yes.
Washington potato growers use irrigation equipment to supply water to their crop. Are growers using more or less water than they were 50 years ago? Do you know?
As a matter of fact, I do. We'll have the answer for you right after the break.
Coming up, I'm making steak with potato hash at Enzo in Moses Lake.
You keep talking, I'll keep eating.
Yeah, you keep eating.
Okay.
Then Val's learning how a conservation district helped one farm get onto a new irrigation system.
I think I'm gonna go home and call my conservation district. What am I missing?
We can help you. We can
what
help
am
you.
I missing?
Not only are Washington potato growers growing more potatoes per acre than anywhere in the world, we're doing it with less water. In fact, we're doing it with less water than ever before.
Nice job. That's right.
We're back at Enzo Italian Restaurant in Moses Lake. With fabulous food and an atmosphere dripping in Italian charm, everyone around agrees that Enzo is extra special for a town like this.
You don't feel like you're in Moses Lake, Washington, that's for sure. You have like a very city feel. It's different, kind of New York, Frank Sinatra vibes.
You just really feel like you're somewhere else when you come in here.
I had retired in January of 2020.
Rhonda Casciati is the co-owner of Enzo Italian Restaurant. With the encouragement of her husband Dino, she quit retirement to chase her dream.
Every time I would cook for the family, he would be like, these meatballs, we need to do something with these meatballs. So we started just kind of tinkering with the idea, and we really wanted kind of that old school vibe.
I lived in Italy for some years, and I was really taken aback by how authentic it felt.
The food is amazing. The drinks are top notch. And then they change the menu over, so that's always kind of fun.
Our tomatoes, our basil, everything is grown locally. It tastes like the season that you're in.
I get to cook with your chef.
He's a natural teacher, so you're going to learn all kinds of new tricks.
I love it.
Cheers to you and thank you.
Time to cook with Executive Chef Desmond Campos.
What kind of beets are these?
These are just golden beets. Super
so
bright, vibrant,
pretty.
perfect for the summer.
And of course, this area, known for your potatoes.
Yeah, yeah, definitely.
So, are there items on the menu that people are like, you can't ever change this?
Our spaghetti and meatball.
Of
I mean, you
course,
can't.
of course.
That's the best. Anybody
Yeah.
that comes in for the first time, I tell them to get our spaghetti and meatball.
After it's done searing, we finish the steak in the oven and let it rest. Now it's time for the vegetable hash.
Don't make me cut an onion. That's my nemesis.
Can't have
right
you crying
there.
on camera.
No, I
Yeah.
just don't know how. Like, I cut it different every single time.
I want everything to taste good, right?
Yes.
But I think people eat with their eyes first.
Oh,
Or
yeah.
it gets to the table and you're like, wow.
Yeah.
And so the cut we're gonna do is a julienne, kind of like a matchstick, right?
Mm-hmm.
This cut is the one that gets everybody. You're doing it great though. If you want everything to be like super uniform,
Yeah.
you make your cut, leave that on the knife, and then use it to like measure. Yeah, this is great.
That.
I like
Voila.
it. Everybody knows meat and potatoes.
Uh-huh.
Match made in heaven.
We start by searing potatoes and mushrooms, then add some salt and pepper, onion, and garlic.
Tell me about how you became a chef.
That's a good story. I got a job at this burger joint.
Okay.
And I was a dishwasher. And I'm like very competitive, right?
Okay.
So I'm like, what do I gotta do to
Yeah.
get up on the line? And I actually learned the whole line. And then I found a job at Cave B Resort. I'll never forget, like that's where I learned time is time and not thyme. So I was like, chef, where's the thyme? And they're like, what's thyme?
Thyme?
Yeah.
Finally, we add in the beets with a little water and arugula.
This is our hash right here.
It's beautiful.
Yeah.
I love it.
Oops, actually? No.
Oops.
Fresh blue cheese at the very end.
We start plating with the cauliflower puree, then add demi-glaze, the hash, steak, and top it off with some microgreens.
That is our tenderloin.
Voila. That's
That's it.
beautiful. How am I going to try to eat this?
So,
Oh my gosh. I just taste deliciousness.
I mean, it's an umami dish. And you get everything all in one right there.
Simple, fresh ingredients.
That's the kind of response we want.
You keep talking, I'll keep eating.
Yeah, you keep eating.
Okay.
For this and other chef-inspired recipes adapted for home cooks, visit wagrown.com.
Today, we're out in Grant County to learn how the Columbia Basin Conservation District is helping out with water. Executive Director Christina Rebellia explained that in order to help this farm continue to water its crops, they're retiring wells and using water from the Columbia River instead.
This is an incredible project. It's been underway for 20 years. The aquifer has declined significantly to unsustainable rates, and now we're working to get those deep well irrigators onto the Columbia Basin project, with water coming from the Columbia River down through the Columbia Basin project out here to on-farm. The entire system here is saving 5.3 billion gallons in the aquifer every year. And so for our communities who are counting on this groundwater for their sole source drinking water, it's incredible what we're able to do with the producers and partners to make this happen.
This allows us to have production of agriculture without sacrificing valuable water resources.
Doug Allen and Griffin Hansen explained that completing this project will barely affect the natural flow of the river.
The entire Columbia Basin project is less than 3% of the volume of the Columbia River.
It's a fraction of a percent.
My name is Kirk Rathman. I am a family member of the 3 entities that have received water with this program. My dad has been waiting for this project for about 47 years. Pumping out of deep water wells is very uncertain. You could almost tell immediately that there was going to be a significant impact and a significant difference for the better. The big challenge has been the limitation of water. You have this very highly productive land, and the limitation has been the amount of water we could put on it. So once we can put additional water to this ground, and it doesn't take that much, but we can then produce a lot more produce. Now we should be able to have a full allotment of water for every acre on this farm for the entire season.
Now that sounds like sustainability.
That's right.
Believe it or not, an irrigation project like this is just one example of the services available through conservation districts. According to Conservation Director Dinah Rulo, they cover a wide variety of projects.
So it could be a small $1,000 project to a large scale, $1 million project. We kind of cover all those spaces. Just last week, I was in Cooley City teaching a bunch of kids about bees and monarchs. We got to go out there with the swift nets, just helping the kids connect the dots on why we do what we do, but then educating the landowners.
Donna, I want to nerd out with you.
Yeah, I know. I can go all day. There's so many more. Like the Conservation District gets to wear so many different hats.
I think I'm gonna go home and call my conservation district. What am I missing?
We can help you. We can help you.
What am I missing? To learn more about your local conservation district, visit us at wagrown.com.
Coming up, Tomas and Val are learning about Grant County and drinking some wine at Cave B Estate Winery.
Cheers.
Cheers.
You need some more in there. I will not fight you. There you go.
Hey everybody, Anna Lou and I are here and we're camping out in Eastern Washington. Actually, Medical Lake to be exact. Are you hungry?
Yes.
Okay, good. And we're actually making something that reminds me of my childhood when I would go camping with my parents. We'd always have like an incredible breakfast skillet and I'd wake up in the tent and I would be woken up to the smells of like bacon and sausage, and there's nothing like waking up to that. It's so good. So we're gonna make for you guys today a breakfast skillet. Today we're using Washington potatoes, eggs, cheese, bell peppers and onions, and some breakfast sausage.
We begin by adding a little oil and cooking up our potatoes. Then we add the bell pepper, onions, and the sausage. Once it's all cooked up, it's time to add the eggs and cheese.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. That's what I'm talking about.
After a few minutes, mix it all up and you're ready to go.
Why don't you go ahead and put the finishing touches on it. So we got a little green onions here, and then you got some of your favorite salsa. Go ahead. Look at you. All right, here we go. What do you think?
That was good.
That was good. That is the way you start your morning after a good night of camping. Fill up with this, give us the energy we need to get back on the road. Although, I'm gonna have to have seconds. To learn how to make this recipe and many others, head on over to wagrown.com.
Grant County is a special place in Washington with thousands of acres of incredible farmland. It's feeding not only our state, but people across the nation and even in other countries. Today, Tomas and I are visiting Cave B Estate Winery. I'm talking with Grant County Commissioners Cindy Carter, Kevin Burgess, and Rob Jones about what makes this county such a special place to be.
Grant County begins at Grand Coulee Dam, runs south all the way down to the Wanapum Priest Rapids Dam. It's huge. We had a commissioner represent District 1 for him to drive from his home in North Grant County to Mattawa for a meeting. Took him 2 hours.
That's the county,
Yeah.
not the state.
No, that's the county.
We have a lot of water skiing, boating, fishing, recreation, golf. It is the outdoor playground.
There's so much fishing, camping. There's things going on all the time in Grant County.
You're surrounded in agriculture, so if you are looking to be in farming or labor, it's all there. If you want to be in tech, it's right here. If you want to be in trades, mechanical, electrical, engineering, it's right there. The opportunity is unlimited.
While I chatted in the shade, Tomas was out in Cave B's vineyard with President of Marketing and Events, Carrie Arredondo.
Back in 1979, my parents bought about 400 acres of sagebrush, rocks, and 80 acres of alfalfa, knowing that they wanted to plant wine grapes. And at that time, no one was really doing it in this area. I think a lot of people thought we were crazy. Our oldest vines are 45 years of age this year. We grow 20 different varieties, and we make 32 wines.
32?
Yeah.
That is amazing.
Yep.
Well, you know, you can't visit a winery without tasting a little wine. And Cave B has a special place to experience the fruits of their labor.
This is our tasting room, Cave. We are going to start with our sparkling wine here. There's a lot of confusion, I think, from a lot of our guests. People that do have a champagne. Well, actually, you can't call a sparkling wine champagne unless it comes from the Champagne region in France. In America, we just call it sparkling wine.
That is, just like the bottle says, pink and bubbly.
That's right. Oh, that's refreshing.
That is. It's just like this
In the
room.
summertime especially, it flies out the door.
And I tell you the truth, I am not a big sparkling wine person.
But maybe now you are?
This, I am.
It just takes one good one to turn it.
There you go.
Our next one is our 2023 Chenin Blanc. This one has a lot of tropical notes.
This is really nice and light.
You sound surprised.
I am.
It's not as dry as I expected it to be.
Wow, this is lovely.
Okay, so do you prefer this one or the sparkling?
Why do I have to choose?
I'm just curious.
I'm an and.
You're an and.
Yeah. Cheers.
Cheers.
You need some more in there.
All right. I will not fight you.
There you go.
Creating an oasis of agricultural production in arid central Washington once seemed out of the question, but the Columbia Basin Project made it all possible. Today, I'm exploring its history. Carved by glacial floods at the end of the Ice Age, the Columbia River Basin is a vast expanse of rock and sagebrush in central Washington. Native American tribes originally lived in the area, using resources from the basin's river system to their advantage for thousands of years. But the arrival of the Transcontinental Railroad and westward expansion completely transformed the region. By 1892, 3 transcontinental rail lines crisscrossed the Columbia Basin, establishing towns like Pasco, Othello, and Quincy. The region had ample land, but it didn't have ample rainfall. The sandy soil held promise for farming, but without water, it was hard to get people to settle in the area. There was one solution: irrigation. As far back as the late 1800s, people had ideas on how to bring irrigation water to the region, but they couldn't agree on how to do it or where the money would come from. Irrigating a region is expensive. The debate over a federal irrigation project continued, and in 1918, local newspaperman Rufus Woods published a plan to irrigate the Columbia Basin by damming the Columbia River and channeling water through the Grand Coulee, an ancient cliff-walled riverbed. 15 years later, during the height of the Great Depression in 1933, President Franklin Roosevelt launched the New Deal, and both federal and state funding for work on Grand Coulee Dam broke free. The Columbia River is one of the largest in North America, so damming it was quite a feat. It took nearly 12 million cubic yards of concrete to build Grand Coulee Dam, the same amount you would need to build a highway from Seattle to Miami. The dam was finally finished in 1942, becoming the most integral part of the Columbia Basin Project.
At one time, it was the largest structure in the world. When it was built, it assisted just generating power for the World War II effort. Without the benefit of having Grand Coulee Dam here, we wouldn't have irrigation for the Columbia Basin Project, we wouldn't have power generation.
The water behind Grand Coulee Dam created Lake Roosevelt, which is the largest reservoir in the Pacific Northwest. Water was pumped from behind the dam and stored in Banks Lake, the main reservoir for irrigation. Miles of canals were built to bring water from Banks Lake to farms. In 1952, the water was finally turned on for farmers in the basin. People from Coulee City to Pasco held parades and celebrations to commemorate the historic moment water arrived on their land. Over the next 50 years, more than 300 miles of canals and 3,500 miles of waterways would wind through the Columbia Basin, connecting farmers to much-needed water for irrigating their crops. Today, the project serves as a vital water source for farming in the state, using only 3% of the Columbia River.
One of the best parts about having a multi-purpose project like this, it provides water for 11,000 farms. It actually provides a great source of recreation. Lake Roosevelt itself is a wonderful recreation area. It's controlled by the National Park Service. It provides boating opportunities, marinas, fishing, as well as wetlands now for multiple species of animals.
The Columbia Basin Project has been a huge success, but it's still a work in progress. Farmers and communities hope to bring irrigation water from the project to another 300,000 plus acres in the future.
My name is Kirk Rathman, and this is a family farm.
And what has this meant to your family farm to have this access?
Well, my dad has been waiting for this project for about 47 years.
The Columbia Basin Project has helped transform an arid landscape into a productive region for more than 3 million acres of apples, potatoes, cherries, hay, onions, and more. These crops feed Washington and the world.
In Grant County, the Columbia River Basin's farmers and leaders are proving that caring for water and land today secures a thriving future for us all. That's it for this episode of Washington Grown. We'll see you next time.